Hey there everybody, Scotia here, and I think it's safe to say at this point that EVO 2022 has finally concluded. I think by the time of this recording, the finals for Guilty Gear Strive have already finished, and what a crazy couple of days it's been. This has been an amazing tournament. I've really enjoyed watching all the matches and just catching up with everything that's been going on, but we have gotten a bevy of announcements these last couple of days, especially in the last couple of hours. And I'm just going to go over them really and just kind of give my thoughts on the stuff that's been announced, because I have a lot of thoughts on some of them. Some of them I was very, very happy with. Some of them I thought could have been a bit better. But that's basically what this video is going to be. I'm going to hopefully not go too long into it, but I'm just going to kind of give a quick recap of basically everything that we got announced this weekend, and more so in the last couple of hours from EVO. So without further ado, let's go. So the announcements actually started on Friday, and I was planning to do some form of a reaction live stream, but unfortunately the layout of the panels, because there was a few panels for a bunch of different developers, like there was one for Guilty Gear Strive and one for Street Fighter 6, and I was planning on like watching these and reacting to them, but the schedule of them ended up being not what I was expecting. I was kind of hoping to just do one long stream, like that these panels were going to happen concurrently, but they didn't. But that's fine. I still watched them, and I was tempted to do videos on them, but unfortunately I don't think we really got that much from them in terms of like actual like major announcements. So unfortunately I didn't cover them or didn't really talk about them. But for the most part, it was mostly just kind of like stuff like rollback and crossplay announcements, which are amazing, by the way. Like, don't get me wrong, huge announcements in terms for the actual, you know, health of the games that got these updates. Like King of Fighters 15 is confirmed to be getting crossplay next year. That's a huge deal. Really, really good news for that game in the community. Samurai Showdown is getting rollback, which is just crazy. I never thought that game would get rollback. It's been so long now, and that game kind of got sent out to die with its netcode. So I'm surprised that they've kind of gone back to add rollback to it. I think that's coming next year as well. Obviously Dragon Ball FighterZ had a big announcement for rollback, which is really, really good news. I enjoyed playing that game, but never really put a lot of time into it, obviously, I think, which is the case for a lot of people because of the netcode. So yeah, very, very good news. I'm glad a lot of developers rather, are starting to kind of see that rollback and crossplay should be the standard, and yeah, it's just very good to see. It was a shame, obviously, some games didn't get these types of announcements. The Grand Blue Fantasy versus that was a very disappointing one. I was kind of around at the time hoping that they were going to show something or announce something, and they really didn't. I think that they just said that they're going to do an online tournament, which is hilarious in a sad way for that game, because that game has awful netcode as well. And obviously Tekken 7 got nothing, but that's a whole other thing with Harada and his views on rollback and Tekken 7's netcode in general. But I think for the most part this was a very good EVO for rollback and just crossplay in general and just kind of that type of stuff. So yeah, that was very, very good, and I was very happy to see all these announcements. Even though I'm myself not a huge online player, I still understand, and I'm still kind of grateful that like so many of these things are kind of like going in the momentum towards some positive changes towards the industry in general, because I think this genre has definitely been kind of living in a bit of poverty in a sense in terms of all of these games that just keep shipping without rollback netcode. And you know, this isn't new with like rollback. Obviously King of Fighters 15 launched with its Guilty Gear Strive launched with it. Street Fighter 5 and the other Capcom games at the time, they had rollback netcode but weirdly implemented, but that's a whole other thing. But it's just good to see. Basically, there's only a couple of studios and games now that seem to be holding out, which is a shame. But hopefully in the next couple of years, you know, they'll come over to the good side of rollback. But yeah, so like I said, very, very good news. I'm very happy with that. So now I move on to the Sunday reveals, and these are ones that have literally only just happened within the last 12 hours or so, which is still kind of crazy to think about, because I'm still kind of like riding off the high of some of them because they were such great announcements. And you know, speaking of great announcements, we'll start with SNK because they were the first ones. King of Fighters 15 was the first game for Sunday finals, and I think easily SNK had the best announcements, I think, this EVO, bar none. I mean, I obviously other games had good announcements, but just for what they brought and the way they brought it, I think SNK really killed it this year. I'm very happy with where they're going at the moment. You know, the future for SNK games and King of Fighters is really, really cool at the moment. So yeah, so basically they started off, it was actually funny because they started off with the Team Awakened Orochi trailer again, but like it was a much shortened version of it, and I actually thought they were going to announce Go-Nuts, and I actually was expecting Go-Nuts on Friday, because just the way things were going. My main reason was because they hadn't announced the release date for the Team Awakened Orochi at the time, and I thought, you know, it would make sense for them to kind of like, oh, okay, here's Team Awakened Orochi, they're coming out on this day. Oh, and also Go Nuts is like a boss challenge is coming out that day, but it didn't happen, unfortunately. I'm sure it will happen probably in the future. I feel like Go Nuts is a character for a boss challenge that a lot of people are wanting. But yeah, so we knew Team Awakened Orochi were coming. They look good, to be honest. I've said in the past in other videos that I've not been really happy with the idea of them being, you know, DLC and being sold again. But I think they've done enough changes to them, and you know, they are different. They have different movesets, so it is a bit easy to solve. But they look good, and you know, I'm happy with them. I think they do actually come out today, or in the next couple of hours, or just sometime today. I think the 8th of August. So that's very cool. I'm gonna definitely try them out. Like I said, I've said in other videos, I'm a big fan of, you know, CYS, Chris Shermy, and Yashiro. So I'm more than happy to get more of them. Basically, you know, get their Orochi versions. From there, they teased or kind of showed off Team 4, which is the final DLC team for Season 1 of DLC. And we've known that this was going to be the last team for, I think, since before KOF 15 even came out. I think these characters have all been data mined for a long time now. And it is Team Samurai, it is Haomaru, Nakaruru, and Dali Dagger. Not exactly, you know, thrilled for this slot. I think they look good, and I have no problem with them being in the game, but it's just not a cast of characters I'm very excited for. My thing has always been, I have a lot of other KOF characters that aren't in the game that I feel like deserve it more. Yeah, I think they look good, but it's not a character or a team or anything. There's no one in that team I'm really excited for, but they look good, so I can't really complain. And I definitely can't complain because after that we got the confirmation of Season 2 of DLC for KOF 15, and they said that they were going to talk about this on Friday at the SNK panel. And the most I was expecting was probably just Kim, because I feel like Kim is a character that obviously a lot of people really want, and I feel like, you know, it's just an easy thing to be like, oh yeah, Kim's coming, please be excited, and then like not show anything like artwork like at the most, which is, you know, what we got. But at the same time, what we also got, and this was by far for me, this has been the biggest announcement this entire weekend, is that Shingo Ibuki is coming to KOF 15 as Season 2 DLC, and I am just overjoyed at that. I don't know how much I've actually mentioned about Shingo on this channel, but he's my favourite KOF character. I love Shingo, he's such a fun character. I just adore him, and I've really wanted him in this game for a long time now. And Shingo's a weird character because he's kind of fluid with his teams, you know, he can be in any team really, but at the same time he doesn't fit many teams. It's weird, but he's a character that for a while I kind of was like, you know, I don't know how they're going to do Shingo. I think they will do Shingo, but like I didn't really know how they were going to fit him in. And it seems like the way that they're going to fit him in is by doing single DLC, because it does seem like Shingo and Kim are both going to be single entrants, and that future DLC from this point onwards is going to be single entrants, kind of like how it was for KOF 14. And I'm mixed on that. I'm mixed on it because story-wise, the DLC for KOF 14 didn't really exist. Like, those characters were in the game, but like, unless they had cameos in like other teams' endings, they weren't actually like in that tournament. They weren't a part of that story. And obviously, as a story-focused person and a story-focused channel, that's a bummer. Like, that's a shame to not have a character, to have a character in a game, but not have them actually matter to the story. I think that's a shame. But at the same time, on the other side of that coin, the positive is that, you know, you can get a lot more characters in the game if you do single entrants that otherwise wouldn't fit a team. And, you know, Shingo was one of those characters. I do think this is probably the best way to get Shingo in the game. I mean, you can fit him in with other characters. I know a lot of people have said or theorized that they want Shingo with Daimon or Saishu or Kasumi or tons of characters. So I feel like they could have done it. If they wanted to, they could have given him a team. I mean, it's not confirmed either way yet. We will probably get some info soon. They could still be teams, but I think at the moment it's looking like they're single entrants. For Kim, though, it's very disappointing because Kim easily could have had his own team. I myself have been campaigning hard for at least, you know, John Hoon and Mei Lee to be part of Kim's team in this game. So if Kim's just on his own, I think that's definitely a shame. I feel like there's a lot of missed potential there in terms of who he could be partnered with. I mean, even if you want to go kind of out there, they could have done, you know, Kim family team of Kim Jae-hoon and Kim Dong-hwan. I don't think they would do that because I feel like that's too many similar characters in one to sell as deals, blah blah blah. But yeah, I definitely feel like Jun Hoon and Mei Lee could have easily been done for Kim. But you know, I can't complain. I'm just glad they're in the game. Obviously, Shingo, like, so happy about that. I was losing my mind when he got announced. Kim's a character I don't really care that lot about, but I get the hype for him. I understand why people like him, and I know it's a big deal that he's back, so I'm happy for those people. I don't, like I said, I don't hate him. I'll play him, I'll give him a go, but you know, for me, definitely a lot of my hype and just joy was from Shingo. And then after that, I think they confirmed again that Sam Show is getting Rollback, which we knew already. But then, probably the biggest bomb drop this weekend, maybe even this year. I don't know what else is gonna, you know, top this. But SNK confirmed that a new Fatal Fury / Goro game is in the works. It's been greenlit for development. And this is something that I never thought would actually really happen. I know a lot of people within SNK, especially Oda, I know they've wanted to do a new Goro game. I know this is something that a lot of people within SNK are very passionate about, but at the same time, I don't know why, I just never thought it would actually happen. And it's very much, I mean, when I saw it, and I've kind of, as I've been talking about it to other people online, I've been calling it Goro 2, and obviously, I say Goro 2, but what I mean by that is Mark of the Wolves 2, because obviously Goro and Fatal Fury, the naming convention of Fatal Fury has been, I wouldn't say it's unclear, but it can get a bit confusing at times because it has, you know, it's used both names in both languages. But yeah, this very much seems like Mark of the Wolves 2, basically, because you can very much, as you can see in the artwork that's on the screen now, that they showed off at EVO, Rock Howard is very much front and center. You can very much, you know, obviously he's silhouetted, so you can't see him for sure, but like, it's almost guaranteed that the person on his right there, or Rock's left, or whichever, you know, I mean, you can only see, there's only like 2 other characters there, you can know which one I'm talking about. You can see Kane R. Heinlein, who is the final boss of the first Goro, Goro Mark of the Wolves 1, if you want to call it that. So it's very much continuing on, and obviously there's been other comments from some of the SNK devs that have been saying that they're very excited to continue the story of Rock, because the first Goro game, Goro Mark of the Wolves, that game pretty much ends on a cliffhanger story-wise. I will probably end up doing a what happened in for Goro, you know, just to mark the occasion, because obviously this is a big deal. I mean, Goro, easily one of the most, you know, well-regarded fighting games of all time. My personal second favourite fighting game of all time after Third Strike. Just an amazing game and such an amazing cast of characters. And it's really, really good. If you haven't played Goro Mark of the Wolves, please go out of your way to play it and buy it. It's worth whatever the price is at the moment, if it's on sale or not. Go and buy it, it's amazing. But yeah, that game pretty much ends on a cliffhanger with Rock kind of leaving with Kane, you know, leaving Terry behind to go with Kane, because Kane kind of like teases that, oh, you know, maybe Rock's mother is alive, and that was it. And then like obviously Goro came out in 1999, I think, and like that was it. You know, they never did a new Fatal Fury game. There's been nothing since. The only time we've ever seen Rock and Terry has been in KOF in the last couple of games, 14 and 15. So this is something that is very much a big deal. I know a lot of people are very excited for this. A lot of people were in shock. I think most people have probably seen Maximilian Dude's reaction to it. He was just screaming. Yeah, crazy reveal. I can't believe that they've finally confirmed they're doing it. Obviously way too early to even really theorize about who or what that game is going to be like, or who's going to be in it. For me, would very much like the Kim brothers that I mentioned earlier, Kim Jae-hoon and Kim Dong-won. I love both of those characters, but in terms of Goro, I would probably say my main in that game is Jae-hoon. So I very much hope that they're in the game. I don't know how the roster's going to go, actually, because I think they could easily just have everybody from the cancelled Goro Mark of the Wolves to like concept art and sprites that came out like a couple months ago, that a lot of people were kind of like diving in and out and recreating the sprites. Like, they could just do that roster again if they wanted to. I would be happy with that. But you can see in the back of the image of the artwork they put out for it that you can see Billy Kane. So I would assume that, and also as well the calling it Fatal Fury / Goro, so it's clearly, I mean personally, my kind of speculation at the moment is that they're gonna feature kind of characters from both Fatal Fury and Goro. So I don't think it's going to be straight up every character from Goro is going to be coming back. but I also don't think every character from Fatal Fury is coming back. I would at least assume that Terry, Andy, and Joe are probably going to be in the game. Obviously, those three are the main characters of Fatal Fury, and you know, in terms of returning characters, Garo only really had Terry, I think. Yeah, I think it was just Terry. So I think they're probably going to bring back a couple of other characters. I mean, obviously Billy's there, so I think Billy, you can pretty much confirm, is going to be in the game. Same with Kane. But yeah, very, very interesting. Such an exciting reveal. I couldn't believe it. I mean, that double whammy of like Shingo, Kim, and then, you know, Garo 2 or Mark of the Wolves 2 or Fatal Fury, whatever. Crazy reveal. I mean, SNK, man, they came with bombs. They blew everybody away. I really can't believe, you know, like, obviously now that EVO's done and like all the tournaments are finished and all the announcements are done, like, I'm happy, but I'm very surprised that SNK like probably had the best announcements. But yeah, very, very good job. I'm very, very, very excited to, you know, keep playing KOF. You know, KOF was a game I very much was active about on this channel, and then once the game came out, I kind of fell off it for a while. I was very disappointed with the story of 15. I felt like it could have been a lot better in a lot of areas, and I kind of just lost interest in it, to be honest. I mean, I only just recently even started playing as Team Southtown. I didn't even bother with them when they came out, but with the announcement of Shingo, like 100% I'm going to be getting back into the game around whenever he, you know, starts coming out, when they start revealing stuff for him, 100%. And, you know, other characters that they put out, you know, if they are doing single character entries now, I mean, you really could get anybody, you know, regardless of teams or anything. So yeah, very, very exciting time. Like, I definitely already, I'm probably more interested in the season 2 of DLC for KO15 than I was the first season. I mean, there's nothing against the first season. I think, you know, Team Garo and Team Southtown and Omega Rugal were great choices. Wasn't that happy with, you know, Team Awakened Orochi and Team Samurai, but I think they're fine. You know, they look good. I can't really complain. But like, definitely a lot of my hype now is going to be riding into season 2, and especially with Shingo. It looks like he's going to start season 2, which is great. I mean, you know, the sooner I can get to play as him, the better. But yeah, crazy stuff from SNK. Like, they honestly blew my mind. Like, I was losing it. I that's the one thing. Like, this, like, for this whole weekend, like, I haven't really like regretted not doing reactions, because I was planning on it, but just the timings for me in the UK over here, a lot of these were late at night, early in the morning, so I didn't really do any reactions. But like the SNK stuff, I really wish I did a reaction to it, because I was losing it. But yeah, crazy stuff from SNK. Easily, I think they had the best announcements this weekend. But they were not the only ones for announcements, because I just realised I've been talking about SNK stuff for quite a while now, so I'm going to move on to the next stuff. So after KOF 15's top 8 finals and all the announcements, next it was Tekken's turn, and I think a lot of people were assuming Tekken 8 was going to get announced at EVO tonight. I think a lot of people were expecting it. I've seen it trending on Twitter the last couple of days, so I definitely think people were prepared for Tekken 8, and we kind of got it, I think. This was by far the weirdest announcement, I think, of the entire weekend. I think it's weird because even at the moment of this recording, I don't think the words, the title Tekken 8 has been said by anybody. I think some people have even been theorizing that the game that they teased is a remake of Tekken 1. I don't think it is. I think people have said that there's proof. I think the way Kazuya looks. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. Yeah, we got a brief trailer for Tekken World Tour, the next kind of season of that, and the finals in Amsterdam next year in February. And then they confirmed that they're doing a new balance patch for Tekken 7. And I was laughing at the time, because I was just like, of course, like Harada's such a troll, and just, you know, I have my own opinions on Harada, but like, he just doesn't give a fuck, really. And like, it's just, I just thought it was so funny, because like, especially when SNK just came and just dropped bombs and just announced so many amazing things, and then, you know, at the time it just seemed like Tekken was just, oh, like Tekken 7's getting another balance patch. It's like 10 more years of Tekken 7, like, oh please, I want to move on. And then they did a weird thing where they started playing the ending of Kazuya from Tekken 1, and I thought it was a Tekken like classic collection, which is something I've, you know, really wanted for quite a while now. I really want a lot of the Tekken games on like modern platforms. But they play the ending, and then it does the weird zoom in of Kazuya's face, and then it like transitions to a very high definition looking Kazuya, and he grins, and then it says "Get ready," and then that was it. And I was very confused at first. I mean, I knew straight away it was Tekken 8, because I mean, what else could it have been, really? But like, what a confusing reveal. I mean, next to nothing. We don't even know that if, like, there's still the chance that it's not even Tekken 8, you know, which is crazy. It could be Tekken Tag Tournament 3. You know, it could be anything. They really just showed like Kazuya's new model, which looks great, by the way. I'm not, you know, not to kind of ignore that. I mean, he looks great, and I think the game's going to look fantastic just based off that little snippet of Kazuya. But like, what a nothing announcement. I mean, I really can't even allow myself to get excited or hyped for it or anything because it was such a nothing announcement. But yeah, Tekken 8, I think, got announced, which it's a shame because that should be a huge deal. Like, me saying Tekken 8 got announced should be like, whoa, like, crazy thing. But just the way it got announced was so lackluster and confusing, and it was so funny as well because afterwards you had like all the commentators like Markman and Tasty Steve and Rip, and like they came out and they were like, oh, losing it and dancing and shaking it and like, you know, grabbing each other like hype. And then like Harada came in and joined in, and it was like I was watching it and I was just like, these guys were acting like they had just announced that like Tekken 8 was coming out, you know, in about 2 hours from now, you know, the full game, you know, that they were going to shadow drop the net, you know, and they were losing their minds. And it was like the most pathetic, lackluster like announcement for a new fighting game I think I've ever seen. Like, it was such a weird tonal thing. I was really confused and I just couldn't help but just laugh at it. Like, the whole thing was just so like Harada, like just the way of doing it was just such a troll, anticlimactic thing. But yeah, not even that much for me to talk about really. I mean, I am a big fan of Tekken. I don't really talk about Tekken on this channel because I don't know, just never really found a situation where I need to talk about it until now. But yeah, huge fan of Tekken. I've been playing it for years, ever since I was a kid. My favorite character is Jin, so I've no concerns about, you know, him not making it or me not getting a character I like. I mean, Jin is probably one of the most popular characters in the series, if not the most popular, because of Tekken 3. So I'm not worried in that regard. But yeah, what a weird announcement. I think the only thing we possibly know at this point is that it's probably going to get shown off again at the Game Awards later this year. That's it, really. I mean, I wish I could talk more about Tekken 8, but there's just really nothing to go off. It's just the game looks good, I guess, just based off Kazuya's model. But yeah, what a nothing announcement, which is a shame. It really should have been a lot more, but what can you do? So following the Tekken 8 weird announcement, we then moved on to Street Fighter 5 Grand Finals and the top 8 for that. And unfortunately, this was something we knew already. Yesterday, the 2 reveals for Street Fighter 6 got leaked by Capcom Germany themselves, of all people. And I was going to do a video on this when it got leaked because like I was around when it happened. Like, you know, I was just online browsing Twitter, and then all of a sudden people were retweeting the Capcom Germany tweets. But I unfortunately had more mic troubles, which I've now fixed, so that's all good. But so I didn't do a video on it, and also as well, I felt like, you know, we were so close to the actual like official like announcement. I just felt, you know what, I'll just wait, you know, because it happened at a time where I think a lot of people probably would have missed it. I think by the time it actually happened, though, I think most people knew that it was going to be Kimberly and Jury. But yeah, Kimberly and Jury got revealed for Street Fighter 6, and it looked great. The game looks amazing. Honestly, surprisingly, I don't have a ton to say about these two, other than they just both look great. Both characters, I think Jury's a character I've never been a huge fan of. I mean, I've always understood the appeal and why people like her. But, you know, with Street Fighter 4, I always felt like she was a bit overhyped. And then in Street Fighter 5, she was just awful in that game. I hate everything about it. I think I mentioned it before in other videos, how much I just hated everything they did with Jury in 5. Like, her design, her moveset, everything just was really not good. So for Jury, I think they've done a great job. I think she looks amazing. A huge improvement over Street Fighter 5. I think I still prefer her Street Fighter 4 design. But this is definitely a step in the right direction. She looks very fun, you know, gameplay wise. It seems like the general kind of like attitude with Street Fighter 6 is to just basically like, because the thing with like Street Fighter 5 was you had the V trigger system and just the V system in general, and how you had every character had like a lot of moves that were basically hidden behind, you know, systems and mechanics. But like now it kind of feels like that kind of, all those abilities and all those moves have been unlocked, and like everybody can just do what they want now. Like, because I think from what I've seen, a lot of Jury's kit in the trailer that they showed the Street Fighter 6 seems like it's from Street Fighter 5, but just without any like barriers holding it back or locking it behind, you know, the V trigger revenge system gauge, whatever you want to call it. But like, which I think that's a great thing, you know. I think definitely makes the game a lot more interesting. And, you know, having played Street Fighter 5 and kind of like going back over it, you know, over recent years, since I was last very much into it, definitely my kind of main thing was like, wow, like these characters, once they get their V trigger unlocked, is like, these characters are actually really fun, but like until you unlock that V trigger, they're just kind of boring and not that great to play. Not everybody, but for the most part, when I was playing it last time, just felt, you know, it just felt like a shame. So in that regard, 6 does look like it's, you know, kind of like fixing that problem and just making it so that every character is just very fun, you know, right out the gate as soon as the match starts, which I think is a great choice. Kimberly looks great. I've always been interested in her from the moment she got leaked. Or actually, no, she got teased first at the end of the trailer. I think I very briefly touched upon it, but I think I've known for a while now that she was probably going to be Bushinryu related. I think at the end of the tease trailer for the trailer they did for the state of play for Street Fighter 6, a logo, like a kanji, appears at the end of the trailer, and I think myself and a few other people looked into it, and the kanji was Boo, which is the same Boo that they use in Bushinryu. So yeah, I mean, also the color scheme, and you know, from the leaked roster image that had everybody on it, you know, just, you know, the sneakers and all that, she definitely looked like she had links to Guy. And it's confirmed, you know, she's, I think, I kind of like it, but it's a thing of like, I think she's basically like forced herself to be Guy's student, if that makes sense, which I think is cool. I think that makes sense for Guy. You know, I've always kind of thought he'd be a bit reluctant to take on a student, but, you know, would be fine with it after a while. But like, he would need the student to kind of be the one to initiate that kind of partnership or that student-teacher relationship. But yeah, both characters look great. Like I said, just not a lot for me to really talk about, you know. I mean, Kimberly's a new character, so it's kind of hard for me to really gauge or really kind of like have a basis to kind of form an opinion off. I think she looks good the way she is. I've never really been a Bushinryu or Guy or Zeku player, so I can't really say that like the idea of her being a new kind of generation Bushinryu ninja is interesting or exciting. I think the idea of it's cool, but it's not something I'm really going to gravitate. Like, I'd be very surprised if I actually ended up playing a lot of Kimberly in the game. And like I said before, Juri, not a character I really cared a lot about, but nice to see her anyway. So yeah, like, I thought I'd probably end up talking more about Street Fighter 6 at EVO, but yeah, just not really a lot to go off. Oh, the one thing I do like, actually, I was probably more impressed with the stage that Juri was on than anything. The stages in this game so far have looked amazing. I think the only one that I think is disappointing is the Temple Japan stage looking one. I just think the colours are very washed out, but like, so far the Metro City one where you see the, you know, the city like in the distance, and this new stage with Juri, amazing looking stages. I think they're a massive improvement over 5's. But yeah, like, the game's looking amazing. I can't wait to see more characters. Obviously the thing is, that's actually, no, never mind, it's going in league territory, and I'd rather not bring that into this video without any real reason to. But yeah, the game's looking good. I can't wait for it. It's just, at this point, if you know, you know, but I think at this point I think my heart and soul won't be fully into it until we start getting certain DLC characters added to the game. But at the moment, the game looks amazing, as always. Really excited to see more. I think at this point, the character I'm probably the most interested in seeing is probably Ken and Ed. And Ken's not surprising. I know quite a lot of people are excited to see Ken and what's going on with him. But Ed, I don't know, I really like his redesign. I think it looks really, really good. I just want to see how he looks in game and how he plays. But yeah, so it's just Street Fighter 6, you know, it's still looking amazing. But yeah, very, very good stuff. Just personally, just nothing really that like gets me going just yet, but I'm sure in the future we'll get some more reveals that will blow me away. Then we finally get to the last reveal, and honestly, I was kind of like, I actually missed this reveal. Like, I'll start with that. Like, I completely missed this reveal because I didn't think they were going to start with it. I thought they were going to do it after the Guilty Gear Strive finals, but I think at the time of it, I think that the timing of EVO finished really late, like over there in Las Vegas. So I think they started with it, so just to kind of like get it out of the way, so that if people, you know, who wanted just to see the reveals and weren't really bothered about the matches, like, they could go to bed basically. But yeah, so I completely missed this, but I was not expecting much anyway, so I don't know if I really would have, you know, tried my hardest to kind of catch this one live, you know, if I knew already what was going on. I thought it was going to be Sin, but no, Bridget got announced for Guilty Gear Strive, and I was completely shocked by this. I mean, I think everybody was. Nobody was expecting this. I mean, we've had a couple of characters data mined for a while now for Guilty Gear Strive. Sin, like I said, and I think Slayer. So, I mean, like, a lot of people have kind of like been asking for Bridget and hoping for Bridget, but I don't think a lot of people were really expecting him to be a character anytime soon. I would have thought if Bridget was going to be in the game, I thought maybe the last character or like second to last character of Season 2, but no, he is very much the first character of Season 2. And honestly, I think in terms of like actual characters that were physically shown off and not just teased or announced, like obviously Shingo was the biggest announcement for me, but I think in terms of like an actual character trailer, seeing how the character looks and plays, I actually think Bridget has impressed me the most. I think out of all the announcements from EVO this year, he looks really, really good. I don't know why, I'm just so blown away. Like I think they've done an amazing job with him. Obviously Bridget's a very interesting character. I might do a video on them just kind of explaining their backstory for a lot of people, because I know a lot of people will probably be very confused as to the nature of Bridget and what's going on with his backstory. But yeah, like I've always wanted Bridget. Not a character I was like super like, you know, campaigning for. There's not a lot of Guilty Gear characters that I'm campaigning hard for. I think the most wanted character I personally want is Zappa, but I don't think Zappa's coming anytime soon, if ever. But I'm completely fine with Bridget. I think Bridget's a great choice, and like I said, they look amazing. But yeah, that completely caught me off guard. I mean, I stopped watching after they showed off Jury and Kimberly for Street Fighter 6, and I was on Twitter, and then all of a sudden somebody was just like, "Oh, like Bridget, like they just showed off Bridget," and I was like, "What? Like what the hell?" Like I thought they were doing the reveal afterwards. Like I had no idea, but like no, they just showed it off, and then was waiting for the trailer to come out, and then I saw it, and I was like, "Wow!" Like it blew me away. Like honestly, I'm really surprised. And obviously, great news as well. They're coming out today. I think they're coming out, about 4 p.m. BST, which is my time zone at the moment. So very, very good. I'm definitely going to pick them up. I was not prepared to buy a Guilty Gear DLC character. I was probably going to buy Team Awakened Orochi just to try them out later for Kalo 15. But like I'll definitely be picking up Bridget as well. But yeah, like that was a really good last reveal. I mean, I was not expecting a lot. I think a lot of people, myself included, were definitely expecting Sin for Guilty Gear Strive, like I said, but like Bridget completely out of left field, and they look amazing, so can't complain about that. But yeah, so that's pretty much everything that got announced at EVO. I'm sure those are little things here and there that I probably missed, but those are the like major announcements. And I know I've talked for far too long about all this, but I mean, it kind of warrants it. I mean, EVO is a big deal for the fighting game community and for fighting games in general, and if there's any video this year that's going to be a long one, it might as well be this one, so I'm not too worried or apologetic over it. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, crazy stuff coming up. Like I said, SNK head and shoulders above the rest, I think, in terms of announcements. Not to like diminish anything else. Like I said, Jury and Kimberly look amazing, Bridget looks amazing. Tekken 8 had a weird reveal, but I mean, Tekken 8 is amazing in itself. I mean, I can't wait for that game when it actually starts getting a normal marketing campaign or whatever. But like, yeah, just what a great time to be a fighting game fan, man. Like, EVO this year has been amazing. I know a lot of people have been saying that this has been one of the best, if not the best EVO yet. And, I haven't been watching every minute of it, but I would honestly agree with that. I just feel like something about it, obviously, with the changes it's been going through in the last couple of months to a year. Yeah, just crazy stuff. I mean, EVO was so fun, and, I've enjoyed watching it, and, the bits I've watched and all the announcements, it's been great. And just seeing the whole community kind of come back together, because obviously this is the first in-person EVO for quite a number of years now. But yeah, great weekend. I'm going to go probably sleep, rest my voice a bit because I've been talking a lot, and also very tired because obviously staying up for all these announcements. But yeah, great stuff. Like I said, really good time to be a fighting game fan. The future is looking great for a lot of games. Yeah, that's it. Nothing else for me to say. Thank you all for watching. If you've kept watching up to this point, I appreciate it. What am I doing in the future? I've still got more Street Fighter What Happened Ins. That's kind of my focus at the moment. But I'll have other videos as coming out as I see fit. I'm going to be doing a lot of YouTube shorts for quite a few of the characters that have been announced, the last couple of days, like Jury and Kimberly and Shingo and maybe Bridget. Also as well, I might as well announce this now. I'm currently planning on going to Birmingham for Versus Fighting at the end, near the end of August, I think August 19th or something, to play Street Fighter 6 because it is playable for the first time in the UK at Birmingham near the end of August. I currently booked my tickets to go, and I've got my trains, so hopefully, fingers crossed, if everything goes well, I will be playing Street Fighter 6 sometime this month, and I'll be doing a lot of videos on that and my impressions on it and just kind of my general thoughts, so please look forward to that. I'm very excited to play the game. I believe it's still the normal build of like Ryu, Chun, Luke and Jamie. I kind of wish it was a couple of other characters, like maybe Guile at least, but it doesn't seem like it, but it's not the end of the world. So yeah, very excited for that, but yeah, keep an eye out for that when that happens. I think that's, like I said, I think that's around August 19th, but I'll probably put out videos a couple days afterwards, like once I have time to kind of like come back, because obviously, I mean, I'm not going to tell you where I live, but I don't live near Birmingham. It's quite a few hours away from where I live. So I think by the time I get back and, be able to upload, because I'm not going to upload a video on, hotel Wi-Fi. That just sounds like a nightmare. But yeah, so keep an eye out for that. I know I said I was going to go now about 5 minutes ago or whatever, but I'm going to go now for real. Thank you all for watching. I will see you all later. Goodbye.
We await your return, warrior.